Hey everyone, Craig Williams here, back with another video. In this video I'm going to give you a couple of little tips that, for your drums and some things you can do to make different elements pop a little bit more and help your drums as a whole sort of gel together a little bit better. So this is a track that I have done with a friend of mine, Justin Weisberg. You can check out his stuff on SoundCloud. I'll put the link in the description so you can have a look at what he's doing as well. This is one of our tracks that we've done for our EP, and it's got lots of percussion and drums and stuff in there, so I thought it would be good to use to show you what's going on and what we did to help everything sort of sit a little bit better. So here's a section here where it's got fair bit of drums and stuff like that. So if I just solo percussion bass, tom bass, and that there. As you can hear, there's lots of little elements and bits and pieces to help it move along a bit more. So I'll start off with the kick. Now for the kick, what I've done is, or what we've done, sorry, is we've just got a low sort of kick. And then one thing that I like to do on my tracks is put a little tiny click in. It just helps give the kick a little bit more attack, a little bit more bite, so the click on its own is just really minimal and it just EQ'd all the lows out of it so it doesn't interfere with the actual low sort of kick. This is a way, I think I might have covered it before in previous tutorials, but this is a way that you can get a little bit more without having to layer a kick drum on a kick drum on a kick drum. You can just layer little elements to help your kick drum pop out a little bit more. Next up is the claps. Now, a thing that I find sometimes happens to my claps or snares or whatnot is they just get a little bit buried with everything coming in on the downbeat. So one thing you can do, if I go right in here you'll see it, is just nudge the actual clap forward or back. So in Logic all that is the option and the left and right arrow, and I usually find between 3 and 5 nudges where I've got my nudge value set up, it just pushes it just in front, so then when clap and kick it together, it just punches through a little bit more. So if I put this back to where it was, it still punches through a bit, but I find when it's when everything's going in the mix, it helps just push it forward a little bit, and without you having to raise the volume too much, it just helps it push through the mix a little bit more. Another thing for things like for hats, I've done it on this one, but it is because I'm using my laptop for this tutorial. I don't have the plugin on here, but I can show you by using some other plugins. So we've got the hats there. They're pretty clean. And what I've done here is I've put a decimal, which is like a bit crusher, which emulates stuff like the MPCs and stuff like that. So if you want to use built-in Logic, you can just come along here, bit crusher, and bring down to 16, put up the drive a little bit, maybe pull down. You can already hear there it starts to dirty up the hats a little bit more. It will help them not be so clean and sort of stick out of the mix a little bit more. Obviously you can overdo it, but this is just a little thing that helps add a little bit more grit to a couple of your drum sounds. So that's with and without, so you can definitely hear the difference. Obviously that's a little bit over the top, but you can go and just play around with some values there. Another thing you can do is I've got my reverb set up on my send there, but if you want you could come along here, put a, you can put a, where are we, delay, a sample delay. That's obviously no delay, and then a little bit of delay helps spread the actual hats out a little bit more. Obviously you can go over the top and start to get phase cancellation, but this is a good tip. If your hats or drum samples are in mono, one thing you can do, pull the delay down there, put a reverb on, nice and small reverb, just to help add a little bit of dimension to it. Even probably less. And just play around with the wet and reverb times until you get something that you like. And then that will create a bit of a stereo sound off a mono hat. Take those off. Next thing, which I found is probably the most important thing that I've done on this track. People with Ableton may not really need this point, but especially guys with Logic, is the new function, well, newish for 9, is that you can quantize loops, like audio loops, as MIDI loops. So here, these are just bounces from a drum machine, just toms, and then everything was super tight and on the grid, and then I had some other percussion loops that would cut up and sort of shifted around and stuff like that. So one thing that I did to help make the drums more cohesive was to go along, you can see in here, and I've quantized them all. That's just simply a matter of coming along, highlighting the track, and then coming down to, where are we, flex mode here. Select slicing, I find that's kind of the best one for drums, and then come up here, and then I've selected 55% MPC for all of them. The only reason why I've got all these MPC ones in is because I've saved them in there. If you want to know how to do that, I've done that in the previous tutorial, and I'll put the link in the description as well. And then I've just saved them, so they're saved into here as hidden tracks, and they're in all my sessions in my template, so I've got that option without having to bring them in each time. I found that they applying the same quantize to everything help glue them together without having slightly different quantize values and swing values on all your different percussion. It just helped them sync up a little bit more. So yeah, that's pretty much about it. Apart from that, it's just a case of with all my drums was just to EQ. You can see the EQ values over here, and just add different. As you can see, I've added the decimort to a lot of the elements to help give them a bit more grit, and just to help add a little bit more to the drums. One final point that I found on this track was I found that the kick was too boomy, and it was just drowning everything out. And with this track and with another one, because we use a similar kick, was just a case of coming along around the 50 hertz mark and just dipping it down. The 3 dB just made a huge difference and let everything sort of have its own space. So just be aware, if your kicks are sort of just drowning everything out, it might be a case of just taking away that boomy sound of your kick to help them help everything, give it a little bit of space. So yeah, there's a couple of tips for drums that I've used, and I use on pretty much all my tracks. So hopefully you got something out of it. And if you want to see me cover anything else, feel free to drop me a line. Make sure you remember to subscribe, and if you want some free music, head over to my SoundCloud, and the link is in the description. And obviously keep a lookout for this track. It will be released very soon. So next time, see you later.